Hey guys, welcome back. So I wanted to apologize for any sort of background noise you might hear right now in New York. We're having gale force winds, and they're saying very rare hurricane style activity going on out there with crazy gusts up to like 70 miles per hour. So I'm hoping that my power remains, number one, and number two, if you hear any weird groaning, my apartment is not haunted. It's just the wind outside. So I wanted to let everybody know that I do read all the comments you leave. I know that sometimes it may take me a while to respond, or I don't always get the chance to respond, but I'm always reading. You're all such a diverse bunch, so it's really fun to watch you interact in the comments. You share thoughts, opinions, and ideas, which really bridge a lot of gaps and help to unify what I feel is a very fractured subculture. And I know a lot of you may disagree, but we'll get to that. So, as you probably surmised by this point, I'm a person with very strong views and opinions, and I don't exactly go about expressing them delicately. I've done videos based upon comments that I've received, and I've also done videos based upon issues that I've seen raised in the comments. So this is kind of based on that. However, I'm not going to name and shame. Although I am going to show you the comments, I'm going to leave her identity hidden because she meant no harm. I'm not a bitch, so I'm not going to shine the spotlight on somebody who otherwise may or may not would have. However, if you see this and you feel the need to respond or you want to express your point further, obviously you're welcome to do so, but I didn't want to put you on the spot like that. These comments represent what I feel is a very serious issue and a divisive one at that. Now, it's an issue that I've addressed in the past, and it irks me to no end. It was her reaction to my 90s goth to new goth transition video that was really the catalyst that compelled me to make this video. So if you've not seen the video, it is a video that I feel had a serious message, but it's cleverly disguised as a 90s goth to new goth transition video. And in the video, I am basically, donning my usual style, which is your typical 90s goth. And I am transitioning to a new goth, and I do so by way of removing my wrap skirt, replacing it with a pair of occult style leggings. I put on a necklace, this one, and what else did I do? I put on a harness, and I finished off the look by putting on a black to silver ombre wig. During this entire process, I am showing physical signs of emotional conflict, while messages pop up on the screen, which are actual hate comments that I've received, as well as hate comments I've seen elsewhere. It's hate comments from goths criticizing other goths for basically not being identifiable as any certain type of goth or subgenre, or just simply not looking extreme enough. The intent of this video is to encourage people not to cow to other people's rules and to just be themselves. Should you find certain styles in particular preferable, or you choose to extreme up your look, that is your own prerogative, but do not do it because somebody else says you should. Okay, so on to the comments that were the catalyst of this video, or shall we say the final straw. Putting on a harness, necklace, and wig doesn't instantly make you new goth. It's kind of insulting to see one of my favorite YouTubers, if unintentionally, mock a subgenre even though she constantly speaks out against elitism. It's disappointing to see how people make her feel as if she can't dress the way she wants. In my eyes, Angela is the OG 90s goth girl. I just felt that the slapdash method in which she threw on 3 items and called it a quote-unquote transformation makes it appear that new goth is a fashion for the lazy, or what seems to be popular belief, not a real subgenre at all. New Goth has brought many newer, younger people to the subculture. We should be lifting them up and encouraging them. I realize that the intention of this video was to point out that no one needs to change because of what others think, and I totally agree. I just thought that the method in which the message was conveyed was somewhat hurtful. My response: I'm sorry you found this video hurtful. It wasn't meant to convey any clothing style in a derisive manner. The fact that the look was slapdash plays into the message, a person being completely out of their element and using what bits and pieces they have in a desperate attempt to fit in by way of pressure or criticism. The overall message is not to try and push a square peg through a round hole, and just be yourself. She responded to the message by saying, I didn't think that you would ever intentionally do something like that, and I honestly hope that you didn't interpret my comment as rude or an attack at all. Like I said, I agree with the message. It just came off a little different to me. I just want everyone to feel free to express themselves however makes them happy. Fair enough. And my response: I don't think that it was rude or an attack at all, so no worries. I don't think that you're coming from a place of ill intent. I'm absolutely a person who is vehemently against elitism, and I'll continue to speak out against it. However, I'm also a firm non-believer in subgenres of goth, which I've expressed in a few videos so far, so this is an opinion I feel very strongly about. This is coming from a goth that was there before any of these new classifications existed, so this is all very new to me. Trad, new goth, etc. These are all relatively modern terms which are detrimental as they compartmentalize and they cause an unnecessary divide within a subculture that is meant to be unified. All of these other terms that are being applied to the subculture are simply styles of dress, and they don't define you or your place within the subculture. You're either goth or you're not. So the exchange went on, and as you can see, there's no anger, there's no animosity, no discord. There's just somebody who's genuinely insulted. Her response? I've always respected your opinion on the subject, but personally I disagree. I think people use personal labels to help figure out where we belong in this world. They help people find out who they are, and to help find like-minded individuals. I personally do not choose to label myself, but I would not say anything to anyone who chose to define themselves as a certain style or subgenre. Maybe the emergence of the different types of goth came with how quickly the internet or social media grew. In the world we live today, we use trigger words to find what we're looking for. Pastel goth creepers or a trad goth eye makeup tutorial. Some people are more comfortable in their boxes, especially people who are new to the certain lifestyle. I think this brings me full circle. She states that some people are just more comfortable in their little boxes. Would you like to see what happens when people put themselves in little boxes?
Can't sit with us!
In the 90s, fashion was important, but music, that was the lifeblood, at least here in New York. But fashionably, we had two looks, day and night. Now, don't get me wrong, there are subgenres within the goth subculture, but that is subgenres of music. When did the concept of clothing within the subculture suddenly become a subgenre? In the 90s, we definitely had terms to define certain fashion styles within the goth scene. We had classic goth, kinder goth, perky goth, corporate goth, ish, renaissance, death rock. And guess what? If you went through any one of our closets at any given time in the 90s, you would find at least one article of clothing from every single one of those styles. Why? Well, because this wasn't this crazy idea that your entire identity as a goth lie within the style of this one article of clothing. It's like getting mad at a shoe. I mean, just because we're wearing head-to-toe tattered DIY with studded accessories one day and then velvet the next, doesn't mean we're trad, doesn't mean we're romantic, we're goths. I love you guys, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but there's a misconception that needs to die, and that is the misconception that trad, romantic, new goth, pastel, all of these things are subgenres. There are no subgenres to goth. We need to stop compartmentalizing goth. What we're doing is we're causing a divide within a subculture that's meant to be unified in its diversity. So like the girl whose comments I featured earlier, we can't blame her or people like her, because just like everybody else who's new to the scene, all these fledgling goths, she is desperately trying to find her way in the scene based upon what little genuine information there really is out there on the internet. I mean, if you look, take a look at what random Google searches and Twitter searches has found me. As you can see, people genuinely believe that they need to choose a subgenre of goth in order to even show interest within the gothic subculture. That's insane. It's inevitable. During the natural course of time, things will change, things will evolve, and so too will things within the goth scene. But what is with this obsession with reinventing the wheel? If you hate velvet but love pikes or winkle pickers, then that's your own prerogative. That does not give you the right to customize the entire subculture to suit you and then chastise others who don't conform. These poor baby bats are confused as hell. They don't stand a chance. This is all very, very damaging behavior. I want to be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with preferring certain clothing styles. If you lean more toward trad, romantic, or new goth, these are just styles that you personally happen to like. These are more you. There's nothing wrong with that. However, there's a difference between that and then personally judging other people based upon their fashion choices because it doesn't meet your standards. What's worse is when you're looking at what a person's wearing and you base their worth on it. That's just dickish. Over the years, I've gotten to meet and interact with a lot of people within the subculture, and some of them are extremely laid back in style, and then some of them are like full-on goth extraordinaire. But that doesn't mean that one is more or less goth than the other. It's called individuality, not a subgenre. It's simple. You're either goth or you're not. Goth does not have a definitive uniform. Period. Thanks for watching, guys. I would love to hear your comments below and how you weigh in on the subject. That does not give you the right to customize the entire subculture to suit you and then chastise others who don't conform. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.